So I made a mistake in the ordering process on my F450, I think. So when you come into the wheel well here, you can see that there's something missing. When you look right about there, there's two little threaded holes, and there's something mysteriously missing. There's a device that is not there. Now, when we look at this XL F350, this is our work truck, you can see that this device is actually here. You can see this aluminum bracket right there, the two bolts, and basically what this is, it's an electronic assist for the steering. Now, when you look inside the truck, you can see the Pro Trailer backup assist right here, which basically allows you to steer the trailer with the knob, and it will turn the wheel. This knob missing from the F450. There's no way for this truck to control the steering wheel by itself. So what are the implications? Let's drive the truck and talk about it and kind of describe my experiences not having all this Pro Trailer stuff. See you guys once we're on the road. All right, so we're on the road, and I can tell you this is a different experience driving a truck, a Ford truck, without any type of electronic device in the steering system, whether it's a 150, whether it's a 250. For me, every one of these trucks that I've gotten has been with that electronic motor of some sort. The 150s, they obviously use something a little different because they have a different steering system, but every Super Duty for a long time, at least, maybe my 15, I had a 16. I had a white 16. Maybe that one didn't have anything in the steering as well. But if you got Pro Trailer backup, then you've got an assist motor, and the truck has the ability, in theory, to control the wheel at any time. But it's really used for the Pro Trailer. Does that mean that the powers to be could come in and electronically take over the truck and steer it? Probably not. But if they could, I mean, how would they steer it? What would they steer it to? They just crash into the wall or something. That's all they can. I mean, what are they going to do? Look through the camera too? And you know how that resolution, it's not like they're going to be able to. But I guess in theory they could somehow steer the vehicle off of the road into a tree or something. But in this truck, this 2023 Super Duty, it's one of the rare trucks where it's a high trim level, but it doesn't have anything into the steering gearbox. It's just the steering wheel, your hand, the steering column, no electronics to take control of the wheel. Now, when I ordered the truck, I did it this way because just to add the Pro Trailer backup, some kind of package, it put me into a package that costs more money. And I'm thinking, do I need that? I knew it wasn't going to be on here, the Pro Trailer. I wasn't aware that it would lose that motor altogether. I didn't know that. But what I can also tell you is this is the heaviest steering truck compared to the 450 that I had before. This steering is very heavy. Like, it's the 450 that I had before was a one finger. You turn that thing and it would just go into turns. It was the lightest steering I've ever had. This truck is the heaviest. It's heavier than the 350 7.3 that we had earlier in the video. The steering is much heavier than that truck. Much heavier than the 450 that I had previous to this truck. That 450, the steering was lightest of all. It was just turned on the dime. So it's kind of a give take. You know, this truck drives a little bit better than the 450 that I had on the highway. Like, I'm going 84. Why am I going so fast? Let me scrub off some of the speed. So that 450 that I had before was not as good on the highway. It would kind of wander a little. It was a little too light, the steering. Why is this crooked? The steering was a little bit too light on that F450. for highway driving. But for city driving, it was just a pleasure to whip that truck around town with the light steering that it had. Like every maneuver and turn was just so effortless. Now for a working perspective, plowing snow for 20-30 hours straight, having that steering just floating for you was wonderful. It was just excellent. This truck, I'm a little curious, how's it going to be, because this takes quite a bit of effort compared to the other trucks. Now, it's not a problem for... What are we doing? What are you doing? Guess we're saving some fuel today, so we're going to slow down a bit. So it's not a problem for driving the truck. It's not like you can't drive it. Honestly, with it being heavier, no curb jobs. Like, I've hit no curbs because it just turns. Like, it takes more effort to turn. You're way more deliberate with your driving and turning. When I got the other truck, the 450, first thing I did was hit a curb with the dually wheel with the tire. That's the first thing I did, because when you go to turn that truck, it is so effortless that it just cuts right in, and then it cuts in quick. This one, it takes so much more feel to turn the wheel that when you turn it, you are much more deliberate. I've been finding, at least, that I'm much more deliberate with my movement. Now, highway driving, the thing drives really straight and it drives really good on the highway, and it's almost like it's just tuned for highway driving, the steering is. So give and take, better on the highway, definitely not as good for a lot of maneuvering and whipping around so far. Maybe not a factor though. Maybe I just get used to the heavier feel, but I feel like I'm going to be really grabbing aggressively on the steering wheel and probably wearing out the nice leather pretty quick compared to the other one that just, it's nice. It takes fatigue away. I think it's going to take fatigue away to have really easy light steering when you're in the truck for extended periods of time, going property to property, just dropping a blade, plowing, and it's a non-stop endeavor all night, all day, all night. You're gonna feel less worn out when your steering's just floating around and it's just making everything easy. I could just sit there and plow the snow and just have a conversation and just talk smack because it was just so easy. This one, I don't know, when you got to make these big maneuvers with the big truck, I don't know, what's it going to be like with, heavy steering. This is the heavy steering I had, so going to be curious to see. Now, I don't know if any of that stuff, can be added to the truck, or if it would be worth it to add any of that to the truck. But I guess time will tell. That other one that I had also had the adaptive steering, so that, from a steering perspective, that 2020 450 could be the best freaking truck from just the perspective of steering. That thing was just a dream to steer. I didn't know that this one was going to be missing all that. The adaptive steering was not available when I ordered this truck, but the Pro Trailer stuff also plays a role, I think, in the way it feels. But overall, guys, I'm still enjoying this truck. The highway driving is excellent. I want to do a family trip here soon. Hopefully, the old lady lets me take this. She wants to take her Power Boost, and she just loves her Power Boost. So, I mean, it's hard to argue. Like, her Power Boost is nice. It's way more practical to drive that out, a couple hours away than it is to drive this. But this needs some miles. I'm at 620 miles so far. The truck has been great. The high output seems like it's breaking in. As far as, it doesn't seem that much more powerful, if any, than the one that I had, but we are working with more emissions. And also, it's very new. It's breaking in, it seems like. And I was running like real high-end oils. How much effect does that have on how it feels when you're running freaking Hot Shot Secret PAO oil? Like, I don't know. Maybe that's why that truck felt just a little peppier than, it could have. Whereas this one, how much effect do these oils have on these turbocharged diesel engines? Like, does the turbo spool up a little better? Because you could definitely hear the turbo spool with the real good oil. You can hear that it seems like the turbo spooling a little longer. So I'm curious if, once I get, more miles and I can change the oil to high-end oil. That PAO oil, I don't think they even recommend that unless you have like 10,000 miles or something. So I definitely need to allow this engine to be driven before. I got to double check on that though. I haven't had a chance to sit down and go on the site. I can't remember if it was the PAO or if it's like another level higher, that it's like an oil that the truck would have to be a 9 emissions truck to even run it. So it got so much additive in it. So real quick video today. I'll pop in though. We're gonna be driving to see Power Stroke Tech Talk. So once I get over there, maybe I'll do a little shot. But pros and cons so far on the truck. Two cons that I can really think of. One is a maybe. The steering it's heavy. I want very light steering for plowing and for working. This steering's very heavy. I kind of like it. I kind of don't though, because for now, it's fine. The driving and the highway driving, this thing come off of the assembly press. Perfect driving, great highway driving, very nice. But is it going to be too heavy for working and just all day, all night working? I don't know. So that one's kind of I don't know. But con number one for sure. I guess it could be con number two, whatever. But this is a definite con. I can't really hear this engine. I want to hear a little bit more of the engine, of the actual engine. Diesel, exhaust, diesel turbo. I want to hear that. I'm not hearing it. It's so muted. See, I know the other ones became a little more muted because of the emissions, but they've achieved more muting of the motor. And I don't know. I would like to hear the engine. But anyway, let's go ahead and touch base once we get to our destination. So here we are at our destination. Got the 450 parked. Got my tools on the bed. And here's Power Stroke Tech Talk. And we are doing some stuff to this truck. But anyway, guys, this is going to wrap up the video. See you guys in the next one. Over and out.